I walked calmly to the window, manila envelope in hand. I cracked it open and slid the divorce papers through. "You needed 3 weeks," I said, voice cold. "I figured it out in 3 hours." Her hand shook as she took it. Red, swollen eyes widened. "Marcus, please, let me explain. Let me in. We need to talk." I looked at her, the woman who'd shared my bed, my life, my lies. The one who'd cried fake tears to HR while booking tickets to Portugal with another man. Nothing. No anger, no pain. Just vast, empty indifference. I smiled, cold and tired. "There's nothing left to explain, Claire. You geotagged yourself in Lisbon. The papers finish it. You'll hear from my lawyer." I shut the window, locked it, closed the curtain, walked away while she screamed my name.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Before we dive into today's story about the ultimate revenge served ice cold, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop a comment with where you're watching from. Trust me, you won't want to miss how karma delivered justice on a silver platter. The door slammed behind her like punctuation to a sentence I never wanted to hear. She didn't cry, didn't look back, just rolled her suitcase down the hall like she was headed to a meditation retreat and not walking away from a 4-year relationship. I watched her go without saying a word, coffee mug still warm in my hands. My name's Marcus Hale, 35, product manager, Los Angeles. Her name, Claire, 34, formerly the woman I'd once built a future with, now apparently a woman on a soul-searching mission. We had our moments. Sunday brunches with mismatched mugs, spontaneous midnight drives up Mulholland, dumb fights over laundry cycles. But we had something, or I thought we did. Until that Tuesday night when she sat across from me at dinner, silent and detached, all made up like she had somewhere better to be, and whispered those words, "I need a break from us, just 3 weeks to think, to figure things out." And I believed her, for about 6 minutes. She claimed she was crashing at her friend Nicole's place, said it with that serious, teary-eyed tone like she'd been rehearsing the line all day. But something in her face twitched. Not sadness, not fear, just calculation. I've worked in tech for a decade. I know what a debugged lie looks like, and Claire was debugging me piece by piece. That night, after she left wearing that powder blue dress she usually saved for weddings, I sat in silence. No music, no TV, just the echo of my own thoughts and the shallow thud of realization kicking in. She was gone, but not confused, not lost, just gone to someone, somewhere. I knew this wasn't about space, it was an alibi. So I waited 2 hours, then walked into our bedroom and opened her drawer. Empty perfume shelf, no sleep shirt, all her favorite makeup, gone. She'd taken the essentials, not for a 3-week trial separation, but for something planned and polished. The next morning, I poured myself the strongest coffee I could make and called my best friend Logan, a guy who'd been through a divorce so brutal he still used his ex-wife's name as a password reminder. "Get a lawyer," Logan said fast, "before she turns your life into a screenplay." He recommended Ron Mendoza. Sleek office, sharp smile, wore his suit like a warning. Within hours, I was detailing the cracks in my marriage like a deposition. Ron leaned back, eyes sharp. "She's not just leaving, she's launching something," he said flatly. "You need to build your defense now." And that's what I did. I changed my passwords, froze our joint account, called the landlord, and made sure only my name stayed on the lease. I wasn't sabotaging her life, I was saving mine. But nothing prepared me for what I found next. While packing up her things, I came across a drawer she'd never let me near. Inside was an old leather pouch, photos, love notes, and plane tickets. Not from me, from someone else. 10 photos, one man, over and over, laughing on beaches, embracing at wine tastings. One postcard read, "Lisbon, 2019, just us again." Lisbon, Claire had never been to Portugal, at least not that I knew. And then it hit me. Her 3-week soul-searching journey, it wasn't with Nicole. It wasn't even in California. It was with him, whoever he was. By Thursday, Claire's clarity quest was trending toward international betrayal. At first, I thought it would drive me insane. But instead of spiraling, I found clarity, real clarity, sharp and bitter. I remembered something else. Claire had recently taken medical leave from work, claimed she was too anxious to function, said her therapist warned her to step back. Back then, I bought it, even made her herbal tea the night she called HR in tears. Now I knew better. So I investigated. I opened her iPad, which she'd forgotten to log out of. Within minutes, I found her hidden Instagram account, one she'd never told me about. 15 followers, a digital echo chamber. And right there, her latest post, geotagged in Lisbon, Portugal. The photo made my stomach curl. Claire, smiling in sunlight, a man's hand curled around her waist. The caption, learning how to breathe again, finally. Every part of my body froze. I clicked through the rest. More photos. Claire on a beach, Claire on a boat, Claire sharing ice cream with a man I didn't recognize but would never forget. He was tall, smug, mid-30s, with the kind of face that looked like it had cheated before. And the worst part? She looked happy, not reflective, not guilty, just free. Then I saw a comment under one of the pictures. Griffin Barrows 79, my forever travel partner. Griffin. I didn't know the name, but I knew the situation. Suddenly the memories came flooding back. Late-night texting, the way she pulled her phone close whenever I walked by, the random new password just for security, the emotional distance that felt more like a wall. All of it made sense now. But I wasn't going to confront her yet. Not with rage, not with texts. I needed power, not pity. So I reached out to someone who could give me answers. Taylor, Claire's college friend, the one who always knew too much. I messaged her casually. Hey, got time for coffee? She replied within minutes. We met the next afternoon at a coffee shop near Venice Beach. She looked nervous, eyes darting, voice low. I shouldn't be doing this, she said, sipping her chai latte. Claire made me promise. Promise what? She didn't answer with words. Instead, she pulled out her phone, tapped through an album, then turned the screen toward me. Boom. Claire and Griffin, again. Different photos, but same smiles, same intimacy, same betrayal. She told me she was going to Portugal to clear her head, she said quietly. But she also said she needed Griffin to help her understand herself. I didn't respond. I just asked, Griffin, he's single? Taylor blinked. No, he's married. 3 years. His wife's name is Tracy. The ground tilted beneath me.
Claire wasn't just cheating. She was helping someone else cheat too. This wasn't a midlife crisis. This was a full-on international disaster. I thanked Taylor, got copies of the photos, and asked her not to tell Claire we'd talked. Then I went home and started building a folder on my computer titled simply Evidence. Instagram screenshots, email headers, plane tickets, everything organized like I was preparing for trial. And then I found Tracy. Her Instagram was public. Realtor, Southern California, happily married, at least according to the smiling anniversary post with Griffin from just weeks ago. I debated for hours. Then I wrote a message. Hi, Tracy. You don't know me. My name's Marcus Hale. I believe your husband and my wife are currently in Portugal together. I thought you deserved to know. I'm sorry. I attached 5 photos, then hit send. It was quiet for 24 hours, but I knew that silence was the sound of her life crumbling just like mine had. The silence broke at 11:04 a.m. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Is this Marcus Hale? A woman's voice, tight with emotion. Yes. This is Tracy Adams, Griffin's wife. I could hear everything in her voice. Shock, heartbreak, fury, the shivering ache of someone who just had the floor drop out. I saw the photos, she whispered. Are they really together? Yes, I said gently. They've been posting from Portugal all week. I don't know how long it's been going on, but it's not new. Silence. Then her breath caught like she'd been stabbed. He said it was a business trip. He told me Lisbon was a tech summit. I packed his suitcase myself, Marcus. I didn't say anything. What could I say? We talked for 20 minutes, two strangers connected by mutual betrayal, and somehow we found a strange sense of clarity. She thanked me for telling her, said she was going to do something about it. I wished her luck. An hour later, my lawyer Ron called with excitement in his voice. "Did you send the evidence to her employer?" "Yes," I said. "Everything. Photos, dates, timestamps. She's on medical leave." "That's a lie." Ron let out a low whistle. "That's fraud. If they fire her, she can't claim financial support in court." "Good," I said, and meant it. That evening, the fallout began. Claire called me 3 times in a row. I didn't pick up, but the voicemails, I saved them. "Marcus, please call me back. Something's wrong at work. They've contacted me. I don't know what to do." No mention of Portugal, no apology, just panic. Later that night, Tracy struck back publicly. She posted a full album of the affair on Facebook. No filters, no soft lighting, just raw betrayal in high resolution. Every picture tagged Griffin Adams, Claire Hale. Caption: "This is what betrayal looks like. While I packed his bag for a business trip, he was on the beach with someone else's wife. You both deserve each other. I'm done." It spread like wildfire. Claire's coworkers saw it. Her parents saw it. Even our landlord texted me. "Wow, saw the Facebook thing. You okay, man?" I was more than okay, because this wasn't just revenge, it was justice. The next morning, Ron called again with excitement in his voice. Did Claire's employer terminate her? Effective immediately. Breach of policy, fraud. She lost her job.
I closed my eyes and exhaled. It was happening. Every lie she'd spun was unraveling. Every excuse she'd rehearsed was collapsing. And now, it was my move. I filed the divorce papers that afternoon. Ron had them ready, waiting for my signal. I signed everything with a strange sense of peace. Each signature felt like closing a chapter. Each initial felt like reclaiming my life. Then, I changed the locks on our apartment. The landlord was sympathetic. He'd seen the Facebook posts. "Do what you need to do, man," he said. "Your name's on the lease." I hired a locksmith, had every lock changed within 2 hours. New deadbolt, new doorknob, new everything. Then, I waited. Claire flew back from Portugal 2 days later, Sunday afternoon, alone. No Griffin, no tan, no souvenirs, just regret and 2 overstuffed suitcases. She showed up at the apartment around noon, looking exactly like someone whose life had imploded. Hair unwashed, no makeup, clothes wrinkled from the flight, face puffy from crying. She dragged her suitcases to the door and reached for her keys. The key didn't work. I watched from the window as she tried again, then stared at the lock like it had betrayed her. She knocked, politely at first, then harder, then pounded. "Marcus? Marcus, open the door. My key doesn't work." I walked up to the window calmly, holding the envelope with the divorce papers. Big manila envelope. I cracked the window open just enough to slide it through. "You needed 3 weeks to figure things out?" I said, my voice calm and cold. "I figured it out in 3 hours." Her hand shook as she took the envelope. Her eyes, red and swollen, went wide. "Marcus, please let me explain. Please let me in. We need to talk." I looked at her, this woman who'd shared my bed and my life, this woman who'd lied to my face while planning a romantic vacation with another man, this woman who'd cried fake tears to HR while booking plane tickets to Portugal. I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, just vast, empty indifference. I smiled, a cold, calm, tired smile. "There's nothing left to explain, Claire. You explained everything when you geotagged yourself in Lisbon with another man. The divorce papers explain the rest. You'll be hearing from my lawyer." And I shut the window, locked it, closed the curtain, walked away while she screamed my name. I watched from a gap in the curtain. Claire stood there holding the papers like they were written in a foreign language. Her face was a complete mess. Hair knotted from the flight, lips cracked, foundation smudged from crying. She looked like a woman who'd returned from a war she'd started and lost. Her knuckles rapped on the glass again, softer this time, pleading. "Marcus, just talk to me. 5 minutes, please." I didn't respond. I had nothing left to say. While she'd been sunbathing with a married man, I'd been reclaiming my life. The locks changed, the apartment scrubbed clean, all her clothes packed, furniture she'd bought stored at her parents' place, her beloved espresso machine sold. I wasn't going to wake up to the scent of betrayal every morning. But I wasn't done yet. There was one more piece to remove.
The car Claire drove was leased in my name. Had been from the beginning, because her credit couldn't finance a pack of gum. So earlier that week, while she was still in Portugal posting sunset photos, I'd called the dealership. "Hi, this is Marcus Hale. I need to terminate the lease and schedule pickup." The rep didn't ask questions, just calculated the fee and said, "We can pick it up Thursday at 3 p.m. Perfect. Thursday afternoon, I stood at my window sipping coffee, watching the tow truck pull up like it was delivering karma. The driver got out and started latching the car to his rig. That's when Claire appeared on the sidewalk, having just returned from wherever she'd been staying, probably her parents' house. She saw the tow truck, saw her car being loaded, and something inside her snapped. "What are you doing?" she screamed, running toward the truck. "That's my car! You can't take my car!" The driver looked at her, then at me. "Ma'am, the leaseholder called us. I'm just doing my job." "No, Marcus, you can't do this. I need that car." I opened the window one more time. Last time. "You don't have work anymore, Claire. You got fired, remember? For fraud. And it's not your car. It never was. It was always mine. You just borrowed it. Now I'm taking it back." "You're a monster," she screamed, tears streaming. "How can you be so cruel? I made a mistake." The driver gave me a thumbs up and drove off with the car trailing behind like a funeral procession for her lies. Claire broke then, completely, right there on the pavement. She collapsed onto the curb, heaving sobs racking her body. She tried calling my phone 5 times, then 10, then 20. I watched the calls come in and declined every single one. That evening, her father came to pick her up. I watched from my window as his old Toyota pulled up. He got out, looked up at my window with an expression I'll never forget. Not anger at me, disappointment at her. The look fathers give when they realize their daughter isn't who they thought she was. He didn't say a word to me, just stood there while Claire loaded her bags into his car, still crying. And just like that, she was gone again. Only this time, she had nothing left. No apartment, no car, no job, no Griffin. Because Griffin had folded fast when Tracy confronted him. According to Taylor, he'd blamed everything on Claire. Said she'd pressured him, said he was confused. Classic coward moves. He'd packed his bags, flew home early, leaving Claire alone in Portugal, and begged Tracy to forgive him. Tracy wasn't buying it. She'd kicked him out, filed for divorce, and her Facebook post had been shared over 1,000 times. Meanwhile, Claire had been completely ghosted by Griffin. Taylor said Claire tried calling him 27 times. He'd blocked her on everything, completely erased her. She'd posted a vague quote on Instagram, "Sometimes the hardest storms lead to the clearest skies." The comments were brutal. Former coworkers, "Maybe don't commit fraud next time." College friends, "Actions have consequences." Even her cousin Jenna DM'd me, "Damn, Marcus, she did you dirty. You didn't deserve this." No one was buying Claire's narrative anymore. No one was coming to rescue her. Her lies had reached their expiration date. And me? I was finally free. The morning after Claire left with her father, I woke up in a bed that finally felt like mine. The silence was glorious. No passive-aggressive sighs, no sound of her typing on secret accounts, no tension that could crack ceramic. Just me, my coffee, and peace. I didn't have to justify the chaos she'd left behind. It wasn't my responsibility anymore. Claire had burned down the life we built for a vacation in someone else's arms, and now she was paying for it every single day. Her job had officially fired her, and word spread fast.
The story was too good not to share. Woman fakes mental health crisis to vacation with married man, gets caught, gets fired for fraud. HR demanded she pay back the salary she'd collected under false pretenses, roughly $6,000. She had 30 days. She had no savings. She'd never been good with money. The $200 facial products and daily smoothie deliveries had come back to haunt her. I heard she applied for unemployment. They denied it. Termination for fraud isn't a qualifying circumstance. And Griffin? He'd vanished like smoke. After Tracy's viral post exposed them, Griffin went underground, deleted all his social media, changed his phone number. Word was he'd moved into some sad corporate apartment across town. Tracy, meanwhile, was thriving. She'd kicked Griffin out immediately, filed for divorce within a week, posted a TikTok about leveling up after betrayal that went viral, over 3 million views. A lifestyle brand reached out to sponsor her. A podcast wanted her as a guest. She was turning her worst moment into a platform. Claire? She didn't even have Wi-Fi in her parents' basement. She'd tried damage control, reached out to mutual friends, said she'd made a mistake, claimed she'd been in a dark place, tried spinning the Portugal trip into a mental health journey gone wrong. But no one believed her anymore. She'd lied to too many people, burned too many bridges. Her mom didn't speak to her for almost 2 weeks, just cold silence and disappointed looks. Her father started charging her rent, $400 a month to live in their basement, not to be cruel, but to teach her that actions have consequences. Even Nicole, the friend whose name Claire had used as an alibi, blocked her on everything. Turns out Nicole was furious her name had been used as a cover story. And me? I was moving forward, peacefully, quietly, completely. I went back to the gym, started sleeping through the night, reconnected with old friends I'd lost touch with. I laughed again. Real laughs, loud, unfiltered belly laughs. I started taking long drives with the windows down and music turned up, something I used to do before the relationship became a silent competition of who could pretend longer. 3 months after Claire left, I got promoted at work, senior product manager, significant raise. My boss specifically mentioned my work had really improved in focus over the past few months. Turns out, not being emotionally destroyed by a secret affair does wonders for your professional performance. I started dating casually, coffee dates with women who had their lives together, who communicated honestly. One woman, Jessica, was a graphic designer. Funny, smart. We went on 4 dates, then mutually decided we were better as friends. It was refreshingly drama-free. And then, one Sunday afternoon, I ran into Claire at the grocery store. She looked wrecked. Greasy hair under a faded ball cap, oversized hoodie swallowing her frame, no makeup at all, dark circles under her eyes, chapped lips. She was standing in the frozen pizza section with a basket containing ramen, frozen burritos, and a single bottle of $2 wine. She saw me at the exact moment I saw her. She froze, hand reaching for pepperoni pizza. Her eyes went wide. Her mouth opened slightly. I had a cart with fresh vegetables, good cheese, craft beer, ingredients for the salmon dish I was making for dinner. The contrast was stark. I could have turned around, could have avoided the whole situation, but I didn't. I kept walking toward checkout, my route taking me directly past her. She recovered from her shock. "Marcus?" Some half-baked apology forming on her lips. But I didn't stop. Didn't slow down, didn't flinch. I pushed my cart right past her like she was part of a display I wasn't interested in. "Marcus, please, can we just—" I kept walking, didn't turn around, didn't acknowledge her. And in that moment, I realized something profound. I'd never had to scream at her, never had to throw things or make dramatic pronouncements, never had to beg for answers or closure. She'd thought I would fall apart, expected me to call crying, to demand she come back, to make a scene. Instead, I'd let her destroy her own life with her choices. Her fantasy with Griffin had crumbled. He'd ghosted her completely. Her lies had collapsed under the weight of evidence. Her new life had dissolved faster than she could say it was just a mistake. And me? I'd survived. I'd rebuilt. I'd won. Not by destroying her, by refusing to be destroyed by her. Because revenge doesn't always look like fire and fury. Sometimes it's just peace. Sometimes it's just moving on. Sometimes it's just not letting them back in. I checked out, loaded my groceries, and drove home to my apartment. My apartment, with my name on the lease, my furniture, my life. I cooked dinner, poured good wine, put on music I liked, and I didn't think about Claire even once. That evening, I got a text from an unknown number. "I saw you at the store today. You look really good, happy. I'm glad you're doing well. I know I don't deserve to ask, but do you think we could ever talk? Really talk? I'm in therapy now, working on myself. I'm not asking for another chance. I just want to understand how you moved on so completely. C." I read it twice. Then I did something that felt more powerful than any angry response. I didn't respond at all. I just deleted it. Because Claire didn't get access to my healing process. She didn't get to understand my journey. She didn't get closure from me. She'd made her choices. I'd made mine. And my choice was to live well, move forward, and leave her completely in the past where she belonged. 2 weeks later, I met someone new, Emma, a teacher, kind and funny, with zero drama and a fully functional moral compass. We met at a bookstore, both reaching for the same novel. We got coffee, then dinner, then more dinners, and it was easy, refreshingly, wonderfully easy. 3 months into dating Emma, everything felt different. No games, no secrets, no wondering if she was texting someone else, just honest communication and genuine connection. Emma was everything Claire wasn't. She was direct, emotionally available, and actually dealt with her problems instead of running away to Portugal. We moved in together after 6 months. Not rushed, not forced, just a natural progression of two people who actually communicated. We adopted a dog together, Biscuit, a goofy golden retriever with separation anxiety and a sock-stealing problem. Claire would have hated the mess. Emma laughed and bought him more toys. That was the fundamental difference. My career flourished. I'd been headhunted by a major tech firm, accepted a senior director position with a significant raise. The same week, I got another text from an unknown number. "I heard about your new job. Congratulations. You always deserved success. C." I didn't respond, just deleted it and went back to my onboarding paperwork. A month into the new job, I was at a tech conference in San Diego when I saw Griffin across the hotel lobby. He looked older, grayer, worn down, the kind of exhaustion that comes from terrible choices. He was alone, checking his phone compulsively. We made eye contact. Recognition flashed in his eyes. Then shame, maybe fear that I'd make a scene. I just nodded, a simple acknowledgement, nothing more. Then I turned and walked away. No confrontation, no dramatic showdown, no angry words. He was just a stranger now. His choices were his burden to carry, not mine. That evening, I video called Emma from my hotel room. "How's the conference?" she asked, Biscuit's face popping into frame. "Productive. I actually ran into Griffin today." Emma's eyebrows rose. "The Griffin? What happened?" "Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I saw him, nodded, walked away, and it felt perfect." She smiled. "That's real growth, babe. That's what moving on actually looks like." And she was right. The Marcus from 2 years ago would have wanted confrontation, answers, maybe an apology. This Marcus understood something deeper. The best revenge wasn't a dramatic showdown. It was indifference. It was building a life so genuinely fulfilling that the people who'd betrayed you became irrelevant. I'd learned lessons I never wanted to learn. I learned that closure doesn't come from the person who hurt you. It comes from yourself. It comes from choosing to close the chapter and move forward. I learned that sometimes the trash really does take itself out, and when it does, your only job is to change the locks and never let it back in. I learned that love without trust isn't love at all. It's just a performance. Real love is built on truth, even uncomfortable truth. I learned that you can't control what people do to you, but you can control what you do next.
You can choose dignity over drama, peace over revenge, forward motion over backward glances. Most importantly, I learned that the opposite of love isn't incidence, it's indifference. Claire had chosen betrayal. I chose dignity. She chose chaos and fantasy. I chose peace and reality. She chose a vacation fling that collapsed. I chose to build something real that flourished. And in the end, that made all the difference. 3 years after the divorce, I got one final message from Claire.
The message was longer this time, more desperate, more raw. Marcus, I know you'll probably never read this and definitely won't respond, but I need to say it anyway. You were right about everything. About Griffin, about me, about all of it. Griffin was a con artist who told me everything I wanted to hear. My rebound marriage. Yes, I got married again to someone I barely knew, trying to prove something to nobody. Lasted 8 months before he left me too. I've lost friends, jobs, opportunities, self-respect, all because I threw away the one real, stable, genuine thing I had. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't even expect a response. I just wanted you to know that I finally understand what I lost. I hope you're happy, Marcus. You deserve it. You always did. I'm sorry I couldn't see it when it mattered. C. I read it once. Emma was in the kitchen making breakfast, humming along to music. Sunlight was streaming through the windows. Biscuit was sprawled on the floor waiting for dropped bacon. This was my life now. Real, peaceful, honest. I looked at Claire's message one more time. Then I deleted it without responding. Emma came over with 2 plates of eggs and bacon. Everything okay? Perfect, I said honestly. Everything's perfect. And it was. Because real happiness isn't about making someone regret losing you. It's not about rubbing success in their face or proving you've moved on. It's about genuinely, completely not caring what they think anymore. It's about building a life so authentically good that their opinion becomes irrelevant. It's about closing the door, locking it, and walking away into a future they're not part of. Claire got exactly what she deserved, not because I orchestrated some elaborate revenge, but because she engineered her own destruction with lies and betrayal. I just refused to go down with her. And that's the ultimate victory. Not fire and fury, not dramatic confrontations, not clever comebacks. Just peace, just moving forward, just living well. 6 months later, Emma and I were sitting on our balcony, biscuit between us, watching the sunset over Los Angeles. "Do you ever think about her?" Emma asked casually, sipping her wine. I thought about it honestly. Not really. Sometimes something will remind me, like when I see someone rolling a suitcase down the hall. But it's not emotional anymore. It's just a memory of something that happened to someone I used to be. "That's healthy," Emma said. "You've really moved on." "So have you," I said. Emma had her own history, her own past relationship that had ended badly. We both have. We're lucky. We're lucky we found each other after learning what we didn't want. And she was right. The pain Claire caused had taught me exactly what I needed in a partner. Honesty, communication, someone who showed up consistently, someone who chose me every day without drama or games. Emma was all of that. The door Claire slammed 3 years ago stayed closed, and on my side of that door, I'd built something better than anything we'd ever had. Something real, something honest, something lasting. 3 years ago, I'd watched Claire walk out with a suitcase, headed to a fantasy that would destroy her life. Now, I was sitting with a woman who was real, building a future that was solid. The contrast was everything, and I'd never looked back. A year later, I married Emma. Small ceremony, close friends and family. No drama, no last-minute betrayals. Just 2 people who'd found each other after learning hard lessons about what love actually requires. Logan was my best man. During his speech, he said something that stuck with me. Marcus is proof that sometimes the best revenge is just refusing to stay broken. The room applauded. Emma squeezed my hand. She was right. That was exactly what I'd done. I'd refused to stay broken. On our honeymoon in Japan, a trip Emma and I had planned together, transparently, with no secret agendas, I got one final notification about Claire. Taylor sent me a screenshot. Claire had posted on Facebook for the first time in over a year. The post was a long, rambling apology to everyone she'd hurt, to her parents for disappointing them, to her former coworkers for her fraud, to friends she'd lied to, and buried in the middle a vague reference to someone I betrayed who deserved so much better. The comments were sparse. A few sympathetic responses from people who didn't know the full story, but mostly silence. I showed Emma the screenshot. "Are you going to respond?" she asked. "No," I said without hesitation. "That chapter's closed. Has been for years." "Good," Emma said, kissing my cheek, "because I really don't want to spend our honeymoon talking about your ex-wife's Facebook apology tour." I laughed, deleted the screenshot, and we went back to exploring Tokyo, eating incredible food, and building memories that were actually worth keeping. That's when I realized the final truth about revenge and justice and moving on. The best outcome isn't watching your betrayer suffer. It's reaching a point where their suffering doesn't matter to you anymore, where their apologies don't move you, where their regret doesn't satisfy you because you're too busy being genuinely happy. Claire had destroyed her own life, lost her job, her friends, her self-respect, 2 relationships. She was living with consequences she'd engineered entirely herself. And I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no vindication, no pity. Just complete and total indifference. She was a character in a story I used to tell about my past, but she wasn't part of my present or my future. Emma was my present. Our dog was my present. My career was my present. The life I'd rebuilt from the ground up was my present. Claire was just a lesson I'd learned, an expensive, painful lesson about trust and honesty and the importance of choosing partners who actually choose you back. 5 years after Claire walked out with that suitcase, I was living in a house Emma and I had bought together. Biscuit was older, calmer, still stealing socks, but less frequently. We were talking about kids, real plans with a real partner who was actually present. Sometimes couples at work would gossip about messy breakups or cheating scandals, and someone would inevitably ask if I had ever dealt with anything like that. Once, I'd say casually, "Long time ago. It worked out for the best." And I meant it, every word. Because Claire leaving was the best thing that ever happened to me. It freed me to find someone who actually deserved me. It taught me my worth. It showed me that I could survive devastation and come out stronger. The door she'd slammed led me to a better door, a better house, a better life, a better person to share it with. And that was the ultimate revenge. Not her suffering, my happiness.